Hello again, Card Community. It's RJ back with a quick video this morning. It's Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all those fathers out there. I myself am a father. Kids are far and away these days, so expect a card or two, a call, a text even, but yeah, not much else other than that. But I wanted to make a quick video on Father's Day today. My father is the one who got me into my love of baseball simply by the purchase of a book. Take a look at my shout out video to Shoebox Legends. I believe it was Oddball Cards or Shoebox Legends. One of the videos I made before for a contest entry was highlighting something in your collection that wasn't a card that was important to you. And I got a book long time ago about baseball. It's out of my shelf for years that my father had bought me. And when I finally picked it up, I read through it and devoured it. And it was all about, it was kind of like a glory of their times, but that wasn't, I think that was it. No, it wasn't the glory of their times, but it was a similar book by Larry Ritter and a friend. Check out the video, you'll see it. And that's what got me into my love of baseball. I was always a collector, but that got me into my passion for the history of baseball. So today I want to highlight fathers. But first, shameless plug today. I am running a 100 subscriber contest and been going on for about a week now, still looking for more people to enter. Go back about a week ago, I had a video about 4 or 5 back right now, where I posted the rules for the contest, or the whole concept behind the contest. I want you to tell me a good story about baseball, about collecting, just a story. And I have 100 cards of 100 different Hall of Fame players. I'm not going to go through them again. Everyone has gone through in that video. I'm looking for more people to enter the contest. Not that I'm vain about this, but it's more fun if I have more contestants other than like the 5 I have right now, maybe 6. So if you get a chance, please check that out. Please enter my contest. I'd love to have, at least 10. I'm not looking for a lot. When you only have 100 subscribers, you're just kind of hopeful somebody sees it. So I just like to get a little bit more than I have. So please check that out. That was my shameless plug for today. I'm not going to do any random collectibles. What I'm going to do is highlight some fathers and sons today. Some baseball fathers and sons. I'm sure we can all think of various players who are both father and son, and sometimes grandfather, who have played this wonderful sport. I'm just going to highlight a couple of them. Going to go way back to start and then kind of come forward. So, Connie Mack, legendary manager of the A's, also played baseball. And believe it or not, his son, Earl, played briefly. And if you look at Earl's career, very briefly, I'm sure this was as a nod to his dad. He played a total of 5 games for the A's over the years. So Earl wasn't a fantastic player. His dad wasn't a fantastic player. That's why Connie Mack's in the Hall of Fame as a manager, not as a player. So father and son, Connie Mack and Earl Mack, made it into the Hall of Fame. Back in 1976, Topps came out with the first that I'm aware of. There might have been others. Father and son big leaguers on the same card. So here's a couple little known players. Hopefully you have this set at your disposal, or you've seen these cards. Here's a 1954 design card of Joe Coleman, who was a pitcher for the Orioles in that year, and his son, Joe Coleman Jr., made it to the Detroit Tigers as a pitcher. Another 1954 design, Jim Hegan was a catcher on the Indians, and his son, Mike, became a utility player for the Brewers. Sticking with 54, we have Roy Smalley. I remember Roy Smalley. He was a fairly decent pitcher in his day back in the 40s. I think 40s. It's a 54 design again. And then Roy Smalley Jr., another utility infielder with the Texas Rangers. There you got Gus and Buddy Bell. I think, the current Reds manager, David Bell, is Buddy's kid. Somebody can correct me on that. This might be a grandfather thing, but I believe the Bells are a three-generation group now. Gus Bell was a fairly, decent, a steady outfielder for the Reds. This is a 53 tops design, obviously. And Buddy Bell, longtime serviceable player for multiple teams. Here he is, third baseman for the Indians back then. And then one of my favorites, Ray Boone and Bob Boone. Ray was a longtime quality player for the Tigers and multiple teams. Here he is in his 54 tops. And then Bob Boone, longtime catcher. At one time, he held the Major League record for the most games caught. I know eventually Carlton Fisk passed him, or maybe Fisk surpassed him long before that. But I know that Bob Boone does not hold that record anymore. But he was a part of our 1980 World Series team, went on to catch for a couple different teams over the years. But if you recall, we all know this, when we think of the Boone family, it doesn't just stop at Ray and Bob. Then you got Aaron and Brett. Brett came first. Aaron was second. But these guys both had, Brett especially had a really decent, quality, lengthy career as a player. Aaron was a little less of a great player, but he is certainly memorable to the Yankees for his walk-off home run to send them to the World Series back in 03, and as the current manager of the Yankees. So some more father and sons. And not to be outdone in the that 76 thing, when Topps re-released Bowman in 1989, they threw in some father and son tandems. And there was the Alamar family. This is Sandy Alamar, longtime Major League player back in the day. He had two boys, Hall of Famer Roberto Alomar and son Sandy Jr. Sandy was a quality catcher, and we all know Robbie. So this is Sandy Sr., quality Major League player. Cal Ripken Sr. Cal Sr. never made it to the majors. Long time Oriole coach, scout, everything kind of a guy. The Ripkens were, and you could hear there's thousands of hours of Ripken interviews, Cal Ripken current interviews, where he was talking about his dad. Him and Billy idolized the man. So they have great stories to tell about their dad. Their dad was a long time player, coach in the system, never made it to the majors, but there was one year, I guess parts of a couple years, where Cal Sr. was manager, and I think it was 91 or thereabouts, where you had Cal Sr. as the manager, and both Cal Jr. and Billy were on the team. So that was a cool little thing for them. It was similar to this. Sandy was a coach for the Padres at the same time his sons were playing. You got Mel Stottlemyre, longtime pitcher for the Yankees, and here a coach for the Mets at the time, and his son Todd. I don't believe it was, did he have two sons? I don't think he had. If he did, it's news to me, but I know he had, Todd Stottlemyre was on that Blue Jays team that beat our Phillies in 93. There's Mel and, might have been a Mel Jr. for all I know, and then there's Todd. That might have been it. There was a Mel Jr. They both made it to the majors. And then, of course, the Griffeys. You have Ken Sr. and Ken Jr. People forget, though, that there was a third Griffey who played briefly. This is the 92 Upper Deck card of Ken Sr., Ken Jr., and Craig. Craig Griffey played briefly. I think he made it to the majors for like a cup of coffee, but did not stick at all, let's be honest with you. So, and then there's a lot of, like people who don't stick. There's Hall of Famer Tony Gwynn and Tony Gwynn Jr. Don't forget, Tony had a brother, Chris Gwynn, who played briefly. But this is Tony Jr. Played for the Phillies for part of a season too. Tony Jr. did. So there's a Hall of Famer. Nod also to some of the Negro League stars out there. Louis Tiant had a father who was a legendary pitcher in the Cuba and the surrounding areas. And if you know the story, you can look it up, you can read about it. Louis Tiant was one of those, or I might be getting this wrong. I got another pair to show you, so let me show you this one. Louis Tiant, his dad, also Louis Tiant. Louis Tiant was prior to segregation, while segregation was still in force, so he never made it to the majors. And then there was Orlando Cepeda, and his father, Peruco, I'm going to say that wrong, Cepeda. Now, one of these two, I think it was actually Mr. Cepeda. He was such a proud man, he wouldn't accept the, yeah, there it is. It was Mr. Cepeda, okay. Orlando Cepeda's dad. He was rumored to be one of the greatest players in all of Latin America. I mean, quality player, so that he would have been a surefire Hall of Famer had he been able to play in the major leagues. One of the reasons he will likely never get in the Hall of Fame in America, though, is because he never played. If he played at all in the Negro Leagues, it was really briefly, because he wouldn't put up with the segregation. He wouldn't accept what the people who live here had to accept. So he just refused to leave the Latin clubs that he was, he enjoyed playing with. So feel bad for, all of those players, truly, but, props to Mr. Cepeda for not standing for it. One interesting side note, in all the history of baseball, there are two individuals who are father and son who did make it to the Hall of Fame. Sadly or not sadly, just factually, they were not players. Have here Larry McPhail, longtime broadcaster, general manager, front office executive for a number of teams. Certainly the Yankees, and I want to say the Red Sox too, but you can look that up. But Larry McPhail was an executive and made it into the Hall of Fame as an executive. And Lee McPhail as well. He eventually became American League president at one time, but he was a long-time baseball executive for a number of teams. Now, these guys have a son, Andy McPhail, who is an executive right now. At one time, Andy McPhail was the GM or the president, I should say, over at the Phillies. And I think Andy has another son, another McPhail, that's also in the baseball executive world. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's true. So you have a 4-generation family of McPhail. But these are the only two who are father and son who actually are enshrined in the Hall of Fame. There are no other father-son Hall of Famers. So that's my trip down baseball history with fathers and sons. Hope you enjoyed that on this Father's Day. Hope you get a chance to spend some time talking to your father, or spend some time being idolized by your kids. Except for don't talk to robots. Yeah, that's it. Hopefully Kalen's nice to you today there, big guy. So, no, everybody have a great day. Hope you enjoy it. Hope you spend some quality time with the family. And again, please consider entering my subscriber contest. I'd like to get a couple more guys. That was my shameless plug. Thanks. Enjoy the day. Take care.